Amy Slaton, a star of 1,000-Pound Sisters, has had her husband jailed, prompting her sister Tammy to express relief. Amy Slaton, a prominent figure from the reality series 1,000-Pound Sisters, has had her spouse apprehended by law enforcement. Unexpectedly, Amy's elder sister Tammy has shown relief instead of sorrow regarding the situation. Subsequent to the incident, Amy promptly approached the court to establish her husband's innocence and get his release on bond. The police authorities explicitly informed her, "We cannot release him without a court order. This would be a legal infraction. You ought to pursue legal action." Amy is presently endeavoring to liberate her husband via legal actions, while fans await the next update on this tense situation. The sun was setting over the tranquil town of Dixon, Kentucky, creating elongated shadows over the unassuming residents of Amy Slaton. The area, formerly known for its tranquility, suddenly thrummed with the murmurs of controversy. Merely days prior, Michael Halterman, Amy's estranged spouse, was apprehended by law enforcement under enigmatic circumstances. No one anticipated that the reserved, soft-spoken individual would be at the epicenter of such turmoil. Amy was inconsolable. Her mascara-streaked visage epitomized perplexity and despair. Only months prior, she initiated divorce proceedings, pursuing tranquility for herself and her two boys, Gage and Glenn. However, Michael's apprehension was an outcome she never desired, particularly not in this manner. A verbal quarrel escalated into a more sinister confrontation. A neighbor, disturbed by the commotion, contacted the authorities. In a matter of minutes, pulsating red and blue lights illuminated the street. Michael was escorted in handcuffs, mute, his gaze fixed on Amy, who remained motionless on the porch, cradling their youngest child against her chest. The following morning, Amy hurried to the police station, eager for information. "Please," she implored, "he is not perilous. He is simply overwhelmed. We are both." However, the officer's reply was resolute. "Madam, we are unable to release him without a judicial mandate. This is not an action we can just reverse." Her entreaties were confronted with the unyielding rigidity of legal formality. In another area of town, Tammy Slaton, just married, newly mobile following her remarkable weight reduction adventure, and now more outspoken than ever, exhibited a contrasting response. "I informed her," Tammy stated, inhaling deeply during her Instagram live session. "I alerted Amy months prior that there was something amiss with Michael." She refused to listen. Her tone was not frigid, it was fatigued, as though years of familial turmoil had emotionally depleted her. She was displeased with the arrest, however she did not grieve. In Tammy's perspective, this might be the catalyst for her sister to ultimately liberate herself from a detrimental cycle. Tammy had endured her own struggles, addiction, life-threatening incidents, and emotional collapses. She had fought her way back to existence. If she could endure actual encounters with death, then undoubtedly Amy could withstand a fractured marriage. Amy perused court documents and legal advisory materials at home. She recognized the necessity of making a choice, to advocate for Michael or to prioritize her own interests. Her heart was a conflict zone. On one side was the affection they had shared, the family they established. Conversely, there was an intensifying conviction that perhaps Tammy was correct. Perhaps Michael had indeed transformed. Alternatively, she may have. In the subsequent days, the narrative proliferated rapidly throughout tabloids and gossip websites. "Husband of 1,000-Pound Sisters star arrested," the headlines proclaimed. The paparazzi proceeded to round their residence. Unknown individuals arrived on her door requesting statements. Amy was fatigued. One evening, after settling her sons for the night, she contacted Tammy. "I am uncertain about the appropriate course of action," she murmured. Tammy hesitated briefly before stating softly, "You are already aware of the appropriate course of action, Amy. You have merely been too apprehensive to proceed." In the solitude shared between sisters, a transformation occurred. Amy was uncertain about the court's ruling or whether Michael would be acquitted. However, she was resolute in one regard: she would no longer permit fear to dominate her. Regardless of the burdens of the past, it was time to progress, not as a subject of sensationalism, but as a mother, a sister, and a woman striving for independence. Nevertheless, on a temperate spring afternoon in Kentucky, Amy Slaton was filled with exhilaration. She and her brother Chris had been organizing their inaugural meet and greet with the Slatons for several weeks. Enthusiasts nationwide were anxious to engage with them personally, to get photographs, obtain autographs, and listen to their motivational narrative of affection, adversity, and resilience. The location was established, merchandise was produced, and refreshments were prepared. However, a significant issue arose. Tammy was unyielding. "You all are aware that I dislike crowds," Tammy exclaimed from her recliner, her arms crossed tightly. "I refuse to go anywhere to be gazed at like a zoo animal." Amy exhaled deeply, attempting to maintain her composure. "Tammy, it is not about that. The focus is on the supporters. They have affection for you. They wish to encounter the authentic Tammy, the warrior, the survivor. This may be beneficial for you." Chris rested against the doorway with an optimistic smile. "Come on, Tam Tam. The lift van has been reserved. We also have munchies available, like your preferred kettle chips and grape soda." Tammy cast them a sidelong glance. "Do you believe that snacks will persuade me to vacate this residence?" "I am not a toddler, Chris." Amy and Chris shared apprehensive looks. They recognized that Tammy was experiencing heightened anxiousness. The prospect of being in the presence of several individuals, including admirers, induced anxiety in her. Despite significant progress in her weight loss journey, the mental scars persisted. Nonetheless, they maintained confidence in her ability to succeed, and that perhaps this event could serve as a pivotal moment. The following morning, Chris conceived an idea. "What if we relocate the meet and greet to her location?" he proposed. "Shall we stream it live from the residence?" Amy scowled. "That is not equivalent. The supporters will be disheartened." "I am aware. Perhaps if we simplify the process for her, she will become more receptive to the concept. Perhaps persuade her to meet halfway, such as at the van, and engage in conversation with individuals from that location." They presented the new concept to Tammy, and unexpectedly, she did not immediately reject it. "Perhaps," she murmured. "However, you must refrain from adorning me in a clown costume." Amy chuckled. "No clown costumes. Only you. Perhaps a small amount of lip gloss." Tammy expressed her skepticism but consented to consider it. As the day of the meet and greet approached, Amy and Chris were apprehensive. A contingency plan was prepared, a streaming configuration in the event that Tammy was unable to attend in person. However, in their core, they wished for her arrival. The gathering commenced at the local community hall, filled with enthusiastic supporters brandishing placards such as Team Tammy and Slaton Strong. Amy embraced everyone, as Chris made jokes and took photographs. At the residence, Tammy positioned herself by the window in her wheelchair, observing the van driver awaiting outside with patience. Following an extended silence, she said to herself, "All right, I will attempt." Assisted by her caregiver, Tammy was gradually transported to the van, enveloped in a purple shawl and adorned with her distinctive sunglasses. Upon her arrival at the arena, the audience exploded in cheers. Tammy's eyes expanded in astonishment. She was unaccustomed to receiving love in this manner, particularly from unfamiliar individuals. A few tears cascaded down her cheek. A young girl approached with a handcrafted sketch of Tammy and declared, "You're my hero. You demonstrate that it is acceptable to face difficulties." Tammy crouched to embrace her, drawing her near. "Thank you, darling," she articulated, her voice laden with emotion. After an extended while, Tammy grinned, a genuine, wholehearted smile. That day was more than a mere introduction. It constituted a significant advancement. Designated for Tammy, dedicated to Amy, designated for Chris, for every one of them. As the sun descended below the hills of Kentucky, the Slatons stood united, more resilient than ever. As dawn broke over Dixon, Kentucky, the camera crew entered the recognizable gravel driveway. Filming for Season 5 of 1,000 Pound Sisters commenced, eliciting fervent anticipation for updates on the Slaton sisters from fans globally. What they were unaware of, however, was that this season would be unprecedented, replete with emotional fluctuations, unexpected victories, and dramatic instances that even the cameras found challenging to document. Following the tumultuous conclusion of Season 4, Tammy returned from rehabilitation with a renewed perspective. For the first time in years, she experienced a sense of buoyancy, not merely in a bodily sense, but also emotionally. She had shed almost 300 pounds throughout treatment and was prepared to confront the world once more. The production team, perceiving a significant change in her demeanor, opted to create a special behind-the-scenes documentary chronicling Tammy's reintegration into domestic life. Amy had been acclimating to single motherhood following her separation from Michael. Parenting two young sons, Gage and Glenn, while contending with health challenges was daunting. Nevertheless, Amy remained resolute in her commitment to remain steadfast for her sons. The audience was unaware of Amy dedicating countless hours each night to journaling her experiences, aspiring to author a book someday. As filming commenced, the team murmured about the distinct atmosphere of this season. Rebecca, an audio technician who has been with the show since Season 1, stated in a confidential crew interview, "It previously felt as though we were perpetually capturing chaos. However, this time, it seems as though we are encapsulating restoration." Indeed, healing is not always a straightforward process. One evening, over a private meal, Tammy experienced a breakdown. The restaurant sequence was filmed earlier that day, her inaugural dining experience following rehabilitation. Notwithstanding her order of a nutritious dinner, the aroma of fried food overwhelmed her. That evening, upon returning home, she wept in Amy's embrace, fearful of regressing into previous behaviors. Amy subsequently stated in a behind-the-scenes confessional, "People believe that once weight is lost, the journey concludes. However, it is when the genuine struggle commences." There were instances too poignant to be broadcasted. One afternoon, the sisters engaged in a fervent dispute about a trivial matter. Amy alleged that Tammy was insufficiently supportive in household duties, whilst Tammy contended that Amy was attempting to dominate her life. The altercation intensified until Tammy exited abruptly and declined to participate in filming for 2 days. The crew honored her privacy. A junior producer, Daniel, secretly visited Tammy and, following a sincere conversation, urged her to express herself more fully on camera. Upon her return, Tammy delivered one of the most candid on-camera interviews of the season, articulating her anxiety about being overlooked if she did not embody the big, loud Tammy that fans recognized. "I am more than my weight. I am more than merely the humorous sibling. I am endeavoring to ascertain my true identity." Halfway through the season, Amy disclosed a secret that astonished even the producers. She had received an opportunity to establish a plus-size fashion brand inspired by her experiences. Amy had been doing TikTok videos for years, showcasing clothing and promoting body positivity. A boutique business sought her to represent a new range. The cameras accompanied her to her inaugural design meeting in Nashville, where she experienced a blend of excitement and anxiety. Tammy accompanied for support and even put on many gowns, providing humorous remarks that amused the team. However, beneath the laughs, Amy grappled with imposter syndrome. Do individuals genuinely perceive me as a role model? What if I do not succeed? Tammy responded off camera. Perfection is unnecessary. Authenticity is essential. That is what they cherish. The most impactful instances, however, were not the intense confrontations or medical reports. They were the subdued moments. For instance, when Tammy and Amy reclined on the porch, enjoying iced tea while reminiscing about their childhood experiences. Or when Tammy engaged in play with Amy's children, laughing as if she had not in years. Those instances served as a reminder to both the crew and the audience of the show's significance. One evening, the producer captured an unguarded moment of the sisters examining vintage photographs. Emotions surged as they recognized the extent of their journey, both physically and mentally. The scars remained, yet so did the resilience. Amy said, "We remain present, continuing to combat." Tammy acquiesced. and remain united. During the wrap party for Season 5, the production team presented the sisters with a scrapbook including behind-the-scenes photographs and handwritten messages from the crew. A message from a camera operator named Malik stated, "Observing your journey transformed my life. We appreciate your demonstration of true courage." Amy wept. Tammy embraced him. It was universally acknowledged that, regardless of what Season 6 would entail, the narrative of the Slaton sisters transcended the confines of a mere reality show. It exemplified resilience, sisterhood, and the intricate, wonderful journey of self-discovery. Nonetheless, fans of 1000 LB sisters are astonished by the adorable appearance of Tammy Slaton in infrequent childhood photographs. So cute. Fans of 1000 LB sisters were shown a rare insight into star Tammy Slaton's adolescence in a teaser of the forthcoming season finale, which would juxtapose her appearance at 38 years old before and after her remarkable weight loss exceeding 500 pounds and subsequent skin removal operation. The video, posted on TikTok by TLC on Saturday, June 7th, provided a succinct glimpse of the reality star following her treatment, reclining in her hospital bed with her skull encased in gauze. Dr. J. Peter Rubin, her surgeon, stated in the video that before the procedure, he requested some photographs of her from her adolescent years to ascertain the appearance of her natural neck and jawline. A selection of photographs was thereafter shown as illustrations, all apparently captured during her middle and/or high school years, culminating with the last image depicting her adorned in her cap and gown. Nonetheless, the images examined by the physician did not accurately portray a defined neckline and jawline, prompting him to conclude that she presented a markedly altered appearance. Some individuals criticized the shade cast by both the network and the physician in the tape, with one remarking that TLC is so unhinged for the sneak preview, while another implied that doctors are consistently subtly disparaging. Overall, supporters are exhilarated about the impending reveal, which has been anticipated for a considerable duration. I am immensely proud of Tammy and thrilled for her. Continue. You are fully capable of this, one commended Slaton, while another concurred. Extremely proud of Tammy. Her physical condition, as well as her spirit and whole outlook on life, has improved. Tammy is on the verge of becoming an exceptionally attractive individual. Another person encouraged her. I cannot wait to witness the reveal, one proclaimed, scheduled to air this Tuesday, June 10th. Tammy possesses a remarkable spirit. I eagerly anticipate witnessing her transformation following her healing, another individual concurred. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Mina. I hope your day is going well. If you like the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.